You can't get to 40 without first getting to 30 and 15. You can't reach a final without reaching a semifinal, and before that, a quarterfinal. So tennis didn't quite know how to respond when Serena Williams won the 1999 U.S. Open. It was an extraordinary triumph, a player not yet 18 years old breaking through and kicking off a family dynasty. But Serena was, and is, the younger sister. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. Who can forget Venus' eclipse that day, sitting subdued, straining to clap? But in the year 2000, 20 years ago, order was restored. Natural order, anyway. First, the big sister broke through at Wimbledon, beating her younger sister en route to winning the title, leading her father to dance above center court. 2 months later, Venus came to New York and won her second straight major. It would also mark the second straight year, in a run of 4, that a Williams would win in New York. And if you had somehow doubted the Williams sisters would redefine the sport, it was no longer disputable. Plenty else happened at the 2000 U.S. Open. Andy Roddick won the boys' title, foreshadowing that he'd eventually win the men's. Marat Safin stared down the mighty Pete Sampras and won the men's title. Lleyton Hewitt would win the doubles, only to come back the next year and win the singles. But this was the Williams Open. On account of the sisters, the women's final would be moved to primetime for the next year. And fittingly, in 2001, Venus would play Serena for the title.
And their dominance in doubles started the year before when they actually teamed up to win the U.S. Open doubles title. Can't believe it's been 20 years. Chanda, you were still playing. You were a part of this. You knew them. You played against them. What was it like to be a part of this when Venus and Serena really started that dynasty?
You could see that it was signaling a change in women's tennis. And in 1997, when Venus first played and got to the finals, I mean, you knew then that this was going to be big. Of course, Richard Williams was forecasting this, and it was incredible that it started happening the way he said. So there was a lot going on as we watched Venus and Serena sort of ascend to the top of the sport. Serena winning first, but certainly it was Venus who Serena was able to watch and kind of get the lay of the land. It was Venus who helped Serena kind of get that confidence. And so you've got to look at Venus and just be incredibly grateful for the fact that she played with such excellence, and then she's still playing today. I mean, that's what's so incredible to me as well.
I don't know, Chet, if you remember this too, but when Serena broke through, I remember at least in the media, there was sort of this strange, this is an amazing story, and boy, Richard Williams has game planned a lot. But it didn't seem as though anyone was quite ready for the younger sister to break through first. And I remember in the media, there was some concern, how was Venus going to respond to this? And so I think there was really a certain happiness when she won that Wimbledon about 9 months later. But I don't know if you remember this. What was the sort of reaction in the locker room when it was the younger sister who broke through first? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember as much in the locker room. Just in general, though, you definitely kind of felt, even looking at Venus, watching her happiness for her sister, but at the same time, this feeling, as you said, that wasn't quite the plan, wasn't quite what the script was of how they thought it would play out, especially with Venus sort of having that first breakthrough, getting to the final. But to come back and win Wimbledon after that, and to ascend and dominate the way Venus ended up doing, it just makes the story that much more incredible. I mean, we often see cases where, players' siblings sort of kind of fold under the spotlight of the other one. And this, it just didn't happen. And it's remarkable from so many angles.
What a special year overall for Venus. Just the second woman in history to win Wimbledon, the U.S. Open, and the Olympics all in the same year. Only Steffi Graf had done before that. Well, speaking of the U.S. Open, the Wildcards have been announced on the men's and women's side for this year's event. Got a lot of Americans, John, plus a former champion in Andy Murray. Any of these names stand out that they got in, and does anyone stand out that maybe they were left out?
Well, whoever's left out might have a chance to get in, because Andy Murray is ranked number 129 and the draw cutoff was 128. So there's a pretty good chance Andy Murray is going to get in on his own merits, and then there'll be, in theory, another wild card. I mean, Brandon Nakashima really had a lot of people talking about him after his performance at World Team Tennis. I can't think, when somebody asked me this, they said, could you see any glaring omissions? And I really can't. But again, 2 more spots on that draw, and Andy Murray is going to get in based on his ranking. So that is a fluid list, as we say. Chanda, what do you think?
No, I think for a number of those names, it kind of expected young players who, have made some moves or working their way up the ranks. Michael Moe, for an example, trying to get back into the top 100, but certainly one of those players to watch. So, yeah, it looked like a pretty good list of usual suspects.
Great list on the women's side as well, led by the three-time champion, Kim Clijsters, who is making another comeback. And then you got some young Americans, a 15-year-old in Robin Montgomery as well, Chanda.
Yeah, a fantastic player who helped the U.S. win the 16 and under Fed Cup title last year. So she is someone to watch. Whitney Osigwe, who's been the #1 junior, a junior Grand Slam champion as well. Cece Bellis making her way up the ranks after being injured. It's been great to see her back, and certainly expected for her to get this opportunity. And a few others. Caroline Dolehide, who's been so good on the doubles court, and nice to see her get this kind of opportunity as well.
A lot of diversity in many respects in terms of games and ages and looks. And again, that is a fluid list as well. So that may change based on who stays in the draw, in the main draw as well. So keep an eye on both those lists, guys.
Interesting to see Cece Bellis. It was 6 years ago. She got a wild card as a 15-year-old, beat Dominika Cibulkova, got all the way up in the rankings, and now looking to fight her way back.